So let's take a look at the learning styles and preferences, different learning ways in which we all learn. Not necessarily it is limited to one or two of it. It could be a combination of 2, 3, 4, 5 of all what you're seeing. Let's take it one by one. I will explain. So when we talk about learning styles, let's talk with the verbal first. Verbal learning style is all about the words, the speeches, and the writing, the speech. If you are a kind of a verbal learner, you would remember the words. You were very good at remembering and by hearting some of the poems and rhymes when you were in your kindergarten. You would remember that very well. You would remember something told to you by either your teacher, your parents, your uncle, aunt, your grandfathers, your grandparents, anybody for that matter. You would remember the words, you would remember the speech. You would not remember anything else. Just keep a note as to what kind of learning style you may have. You do your analysis for yourself. I'll just give you some inputs into it. The second one is the oral. Oral is all about music and sound and things like that. Many of us are musical in our learning. I would put in some rhythm, I would put in some music to what I'm learning. If you are of that kind, you are an oral learner. You may be a verbal as well as oral also. There is nothing that it has to be only one particular style or preference. The third one on the right side is the visual. Visual is all about images, colors, and the way it is represented through an illustration, through a drawing, through a figure, through a bar graph, chart, and a whole lot of things. Many of us are visual learners. We would remember everything that I would see. I am attracted to colors. If you are that kind of a learner, you are a visual learner. Your preference is to visualize a lot of things. Okay, good. Let's go to the next one. The next one is a logical learner. Unless and until I am not convinced, unless and until there is no logic in it, I will not understand that particular topic or that particular subject. Many of us have this approach. You explain it to me, I will not understand you. You prove it to me, I will understand it for the rest of my life. These kind of learners are very, very rational. Their logic they put in logic into everything. They want to understand the logic behind the story also. And for such people, we will have to tell them that not every story has a logic, because many of the stories are moral stories. They have moral values, but they want logic in everything. If you are one of them, good. There is no good, no bad, no better, no best kind of learning style. As mentioned earlier, because we are all different and that difference needs to be understood in the first place, we need to first know what are the different learning styles and preferences, and you may fit into many of them, not necessarily one. After logic, let's look at the solitary and the social learner. Solitary learners are the ones who don't like to be disturbed by anybody else. These kind of students get very disturbed in a crowded environment, especially like a school or a classroom, where there are a lot of students with various different learning preferences and styles. Solitary learner would do a lot of self-study. They need peace. They need no disturbance when they are studying, when they want to learn something. But there are a lot of social learners also, and there are a lot of benefits of social learning. And that's what happens when we are in a classroom, when we are in a school, or when we are in any tuition home, that we are learning in group. Group learning has its own different dynamics, because there are fast learners, there are slow learners, and there are average learners. I'm talking about the pace. This is nothing to do with the style, but we all know that not everybody can learn at the same speed. So for a slow learner, probably group learning would be helpful to get them to little more speed. But if they are solitary, they will have to do a lot of self-study.